hydraulics review. How's it going there, bud? You alright? Alright. What's going on? You alright today?
Those days.
One of those days? Is it just because you're here, or is it just?
Nah, it just, sometimes I wake up with it, man.
Oh. Yeah, that's not good.
a tour coming through. I don't want to disrupt you guys.
Is all this all right?
What's that?
Is he all right?
I don't know. He, seems to disappear a lot for long periods of time. I don't know. I can't answer that question. No, this is from the hydraulic steer from yesterday. I wanted to make sure that you guys had this down before we move to electric steer, so. since you were late getting back, when you're done, we'll get started, okay?
Well, I'm almost done. I have like 3 left.
All right, just let us know when you're ready.
Gotcha.
Everybody else should be done.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. You're up, Tiffany.
Oh, I thought you were, I'm sorry, I thought you were on this, okay.
Alright.
What is the purpose of a modulator valve in a power steering system? Is it D, to regulate pressure and flow?
Is not D. Anybody else get a different answer?
Is that B? No. I see then. It's gotta be C.
It's gotta be C.
I was say, can't change the idle speed.
Yeah. Okay. Should've got C for, if I can take one for that, but.
I need to start going with the question and answer.
Okay. C for one, okay?
Um, what is Pascal's law? Is it D?
Yep.
Apple.
Yep. Surely is. Pressure is transmitted equally and diminished in every direction in a closed system. It's hydraulic, basically, laws of hydraulics. Okay, everybody get A for number 2, hopefully? Nobody? Yeah?
I got it.
Okay.
Now I got it.
What is the function?
Yeah, okay. All right,
What is the function of a power steering pump? All of the above.
yep.
What is the minimum power behind
Is it A? What's that?
Dog. Oh, it's B.
B for number 4. Okay? Our steering pressure switch prevents stalling by increasing idle speed. You compensate for the load of the power steering pump if you're like doing a parking maneuver or something like that, or it takes a lot of pressure. It puts a lot of load on the engine. Okay? So sometimes it'll bring the idle speed up if it senses the high pressure. Keep the engine from stalling. Okay. Number 5. Yep. That would should have been pretty easy. You did, how come?
It's an integral power steering system, and that's incorporated into the steering gear construction and integrated, put into each other.
That one just made sense, is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
Or was that just a guess?
That just makes sense.
Okay.
So it's B,
That's-
right?
That's what it is, yeah,
Yeah.
it's B.
How much driver effort is typically required to turn the
D, 2 to 3.5 pounds, right, is that what you got?
Yeah.
Okay. H,
What is the purpose of a flow control valve in a power steering system? A,
regulate pressure and flow, yes.
Damn. I got it, but.
Number 9,
What is the purpose of a check valve and a flow control valve? Is that C? I don't think so. I thought it was A.
Nope.
Then it's gotta be D. No.
Relate pressure, prevent damage.
Oh,
to
I
the
was
system,
right.
yeah.
Okay, it is D.
Yep. Okay.
What is a rotary control valve type power steering gear?
Rotary just means.
Rotary. Okay.
See?
What depends if they're built in the power steering system? Today.
Nope.
B,
I'm sorry, what?
B,
B, no.
C.
I
I actually did put in C. I just wasn't sure.
what was 10?
C.
10, C.
I actually had C. I just wanted to make sure.
Who's next?
Okay, what are 4 different variable assist steering used by GM?
A.
A, yep. 12 is A. 13.
Is it A?
Who's reading?
EVO.
D.
Somebody said A, right?
Yeah.
It is A, yeah.
I got orifice and orifice.
Yep. Electronic variable orifice, and this is the only one that gives you a hint as to what it could be. Okay, 14.
what is the purpose of TEFE system? Is it C?
Purpose of the TFE system, no, not C.
What is TFE stand
What's the
for?
TFE system? Anyone remember? The two flow
Two-flow
electronic system?
electronic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically it only has 2 settings.
Is it D? Oh, B.
Yeah. It
Low
only has 2
speeds and high
settings.
speeds.
Maximum assist, low speeds, reduced with higher speeds. It only has 2 positions because it's a 2 flow. And if
No, I
you read
got
this,
something
this
else
is only
wrong.
gives you 2 options for maximum assist and reduced assist.
So that means 16 might be C.
Okay, so 15 is what? SSS, remember what SSS was?
Speed sensitive
Speed
steering.
sensitive steering, yeah.
Is it D? No. It's gotta be C if it's not D.
Let me just see it again.
So then, yeah, C.
C for 15, yes.
All of those wrong?
Okay, 16, what do we got for 16?
D.
D?
It gotta be.
Yep, it is. What do we get for 17?
A.
Okay. Good.
16 what?
D.
Okay, where are we at, 18?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Is it every 2 years? 4.
4.
Okay.
Yeah.
19 is C.
19.
Hammer and wrench. D.
Yeah. D for 19, okay.
That was horrible.
Yep.
Was it really?
That was horrible.
Wow.
I mix all of the, what's it called?
All of the systems up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna do the quiz on the back, 15, 16.
Well, that's why we do these. Okay, 15, 16, yes, we can do the quiz in the book before we move on to electric power steering systems.
One.
Hydraulic system uses what to transfer force from one place to another?
Glue.
D.
All of them, yeah.
Oh,
High pressure hoses have to be used on the high pressure side of the power system because the pressures can reach as high as
C.
1400 psi, yes.
It's 3, cause we just did that,
Speed can be increased to
we
reach
just did that.
What's 3? Are you looking for 3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just did that on the other page.
Is it power steering?
Flow control, wait a minute. Yeah, the flow control.
Is that right?
It's D.
Which one are we on right now?
3.
Alright, DC, gotcha. Some vehicles are equipped to signal the computer whenever the power steering pressure increases, so that the idle speed can be increased to prevent stalling during turns at low speed. That's the
B.
power steering pressure flow. Pressure related program.
What was the rotary valve?
Isn't the flow control valve D?
Nope.
It's a rotary valve.
Nope.
It's gotta be B, right?
Backup switch.
It is, what is the purpose of a flow control valve in a power steering system? To regulate pressure and flow, right? Some vehicles are equipped to signal the computer whenever the power steering pressures increase so that the idle speed can be increased to prevent stalling during turns at low speed. What component signals the computer?
Is it B?
Oh,
Component that signals a computer, it can only be a switch or a sensor.
So it's a switch.
no, it's
So
the
B.
switch. It's the
Power
power
steering
steering
pressure switch, yeah.
Yeah.
Power steering pressure switch, okay, B for number 3.
Chassis grease.
The power steering gears use what for lubrication?
Chassis grease.
Grease. Power steering gears.
power steering fluid.
Yep,
Oh, I was thinking about
the obvious answer.
Then you said we can use transmission fluid too?
ATF.
Yes, a lot of power steering systems do use ATF, yeah.
Electronically controlled variables such power steering systems vary the amount of boost by.
What was the answer for?
C.
4, C. Okay, what's 5? EVO, electronic variable orifice, how does it do it?
Isn't it A?
Yep, sure is. What can cause the steering of a vehicle?
D.
All of the above.
Okay, D for 6. Proper procedure for bleeding the system. We went through that one.
Both.
C, yep, for 7, both of them. 8, I think we did, that's all of them, that's an obvious answer.
We had that question, a question like it yesterday. Pressure testing. Hydraulic assisted power steering system.
defective hose.
Is it flow control valve?
Mm-hmm. And number 10, specified fluid.
Owner's manual, all of the above.
Yeah, service manual, owner manual, yeah, on the cap of the power steering reservoir sometimes. Yeah, okay. All right. Okay, we are going to move to electric power steering systems, chapter 123. Purpose, function, and types of electric power steering systems, how they operate, diagnosis, and how to detect faults. Describe self-parking feature in relationship to power steering. We don't do a whole lot of self-park, we'll talk a little bit about that self-parking thing. Electro-hydraulic power steering, that's a special system that's only found in certain vehicles that we'll get to. This is going to be part of content area A for your A4. Overview of electric power steering. Your electric steer takes the place of a hydraulic components that were previously used by using electric motor to provide the assist. So the only difference is electric power steering just uses an electric motor to take the place of the power steering pump, the hydraulic system, that's all gone, right? Just uses an electric motor. It uses an electric motor mounted on the steering rack itself or on the steering column, one or the other, okay? The only exception to that rule is the electro-hydraulic, which we'll get to in a minute. Advantages of electric power steering. Fuel economy, how does it do that? How would electric power steering give you improved fuel economy?
No emissions.
By what?
Because it's electric and it uses power.
Right, he's using electric power instead of engine power, right, to drive the pump. Doesn't have to turn the pump, right? So the engine has to work less, right? Okay. Increase in usable power. Improves cold weather starting. I don't know about the starting, but at least it should say cold weather steering. I think they misprinted that. The reason is sometimes power steering fluid will get thick when it's really cold. It's kind of hard to steer a little bit, but I think they meant cold weather steering.
It says starting in the book too.
I'm sorry.
It says starting in the book too.
Does it? Yeah.
Improved cold weather starting.
Yeah. I don't know why. It doesn't make sense to me. Starting, cold weather starting. What would that have to do with it? I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something here, but it seems to me that they should have put steering there. Reduce engine compartment complexity because there is no power steering pump. There's no hydraulic lines. There's no belt on it, so you don't have as many components in the engine compartment there. Types of electric power steering systems: rack mounted or column mounted. Okay, rack mounted means the motor is attached to the steering gear itself, the steering rack and pinion. Column mounted means the motor is on the column. Located inside the vehicle. This one is on rack mounted. Happens to be on a Lexus RX 400. View from underneath the vehicle. That is the electric motor that runs the power assist for your steering. This is a cutaway of a Honda electric power steering unit mounted on the rack and pinion assembly. So instead of hydraulics, it just has an electric motor here that gives you your assist for your steering. Very simple system, works very well. Going to have a few different things to have it operate.
Quick question.
Yeah,
So the electric power steering doesn't use fluid?
no fluid. Yep. No fluid, just electric motor that will give you your steering assist. Yep. So, again, it really simplifies the whole system because, you know, you don't have the belt, you don't have the pump, you don't have the hoses, you don't have the fluid. All of that stuff is gone. Just use an electric motor. Electric power takes the place of hydraulic components that were previously used by using an electric motor to provide the assist. Two types of motors. Well, I shouldn't say two types. They're basically all, just DC motors. Some operate on 42 volts, some operate on 12 volts. It will have an electronic control unit that will take the information from the torque sensor and steering position sensor, that kind of stuff, to calculate the amount of assist needed. So it will vary the voltage to the motor depending on how much assist you need. Your inputs and outputs. Powertrain control module or your PCM, body control module, power steering control module. It's going to look at battery voltage, it's going to look at the sensor, torque shaft sensor input, steering wheel position sensor, power steering motor itself is going to be an output, obviously. Driver information center, that is just going to alert you if you have a problem with the system. You may get a message on the driver information center that says steering assist reduced or something to that effect if there's a problem with the system. And obviously it communicates through serial data, like all of your computers do. Another rack-mounted motor, this one happens to be on a Ford. Not a whole lot of difference in them, but you just see a motor with electrical connector on it, if that is what it's got. All right, the torque sensor. That is in the steering column. It converts the torque the driver is applying to the steering wheel into a voltage signal. Okay, that's how that works. If you ever have to replace a torque sensor, it has to be calibrated. And it has to be installed perfectly. They're a little bit of a trick to get perfect, but you have to calibrate it with a scan tool once you replace it. We had a recall on cars years ago where you had to replace that torque sensor on the steering column. So you had to pull the steering column out. It was a little bit of a job, but calibrating it had to be absolutely perfect or it wouldn't work. All right, they're just showing you cutaway view drawing actually of the torque sensor used in the electric power steering unit.
Question. It says that for the EPS control unit steering, you know what, never mind. I'm not gonna ask that. You ready for me?
Why, did you answer your own question?
Well, I was about to, I thought I was about to, but then it didn't, because it says the steering torque sensor is a non-contact sensor that detects the movement in torque applied to the torsion bar. If it's a non-contact sensor, does that mean that it doesn't have any direct power? Is that what they mean by non-contact?
No. What they mean by non-contact is all it's doing is it's detecting the amount of force that you're putting on the steering wheel.
Like
Converts that to a
TPMS
voltage
sensor?
signal so the control unit knows how much power to apply to the motor based on how much effort you're putting on the steering wheel.
Okay, it's like a TPMS sensor, kind of.
Tire pressure monitoring sensor you talking about?
Yeah, as far as being able to detect.
Okay, all the
Pressure.
tire pressure monitoring sensor does is just detect tire pressure, is all
Right.
it does.
So does
Okay.
this one kind of in the same sense?
As
just
far as a
detect-
sensor goes, yeah, I suppose, yeah, they all detect some sort of information that they're designed to check. But I wouldn't relate those as the same thing, but they are both sensors, yes.
Like, or I'm trying to figure out the non-contact, that's what's throwing me off, because I don't want there to be a test question like there were before about, you know what I mean? Like, that's where my brain is going.
I'm not sure why they said it's a non-contact. I don't know if that just means it doesn't touch anything else other than just senses the torque that you're putting on the steering wheel. I don't know why they're calling it a non-contact. I'm not sure.
So that's not anything that we need to
Yeah, I don't think I would worry too much about
Okay.
that. I don't know exactly what they were getting at with that, but it is in the steering column, and that's all it does, right? It just converts the torque and effort you're putting on the steering wheel into a voltage signal for the control module to process into the motor. Okay, so this is a little description of that steering shaft torque sensor. Power steering control module will use that sensor as a main input for determining the direction and the amount of assist needed. When the torque is applied to the steering column shaft during a right turn, sensor signal voltage, or signal 1 voltage increases, signal 2 voltage decreases. And it does just the opposite during a left turn. The control module recognizes the change in voltage signals and steering direction and the steering column shaft, or steering column shaft torque. So basically all it's doing is it's recognizing which way you're turning the steering wheel, how much effort you're putting on it, and it is processing that, okay, to give it how much assist is it going to need. Is it going to need it to the right or to the left, depending on which way to turn the steering wheel, okay? It's a simple system. Don't let it sound too complicated, all right? You don't have to worry about the voltages and stuff like that, but it's just showing you how it works. It's going to use a steering position sensor as well. That's just determined on center position, meaning when the wheels are straight ahead, okay? That is a 5-volt dual analog signal device, which runs on a range from 0 to 5 volts. We've talked about that before. A lot of sensors in cars are 0 to 5 volts. Okay, it's pretty common. Sensor signal 1 and 2 values will increase and decrease within 2.5 to 2.8 volts of each other as the steering wheel is being turned. Okay. Power steering control module schematic shows your torque sensor inputs, your motor as your output here. This is your power steering motor here, control module. Torque sensor, different readings for effort and position that you're turning the steering wheel. And your voltage sensing circuit inside processes that and gives the appropriate voltage to the motor for your assist that you need. Got that? Hopefully, maybe, yeah. Okay, what is the steering wheel position sensor for?
It tells the PSCM how much torque is going into each turn, how much pressure there is for each turn.
Two different things. You're thinking about the torque sensor. This is the steering wheel position sensor. Two different things. The torque sensor senses the amount of effort you are applying to the steering wheel in which direction. Steering wheel position sensor is different. What does it do?
Determine the steering system on center position.
Okay. This determines the steering wheel on center position. Okay. The motor that runs that is a DC reversible 65 amp rated motor. Could be 12 volts, could be 24 or 42. The motor assists steering through a worm gear. It's gear reduction located in the column housing. Motor draws 750 to 1,000 watts, or about 1 horsepower at full assist. How do you calculate wattage? Anybody know?
No.
That's how you do it. Doesn't help you, does it?
No.
What's the E and the I for again?
The E is voltage, the I is amperage. You multiply the two, you'll get wattage.
Oh,
Okay?
so volts times amps?
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Your power steering control module uses a combination of steering, shaft, torque sensor input, vehicle speed, calculated system temperature, and steering tuning to determine the amount of assist needed. in fault detection. If the system is exposed to excessive amounts of static steering conditions, it will go into protection mode to avoid thermal damage due to overheating of the power steering system. So what that means is if you're sitting in your car and you're not moving, and you're just turning the steering wheel back and forth, like a kid playing with a toy or playing a video game, right? The thing will go into protection mode to keep the motor from overheating. Okay, that's what it's talking about. If it's exposed to excessive amounts of static steering conditions, okay, it will go into overheat protection mode. Couple of codes for it, and you see these are C codes. What does a C code mean?
Torque sensor fault.
Those are all C codes. What are they?
Torque sensor fault.
Yeah, but what's a C code?
Control,
Circuit?
circuit.
Anybody know how the diagnostic trouble codes are arranged?
No.
P codes are for what?
Power.
Powertrain, being engine transmission. Let's say you got a P0300,
Okay.
random misfire, right? Powertrain. C is what? Chassis.
Oh.
B codes are body. U codes are communication. Okay? Okay. Those are gonna set codes in the chassis control module, all right? Okay. Case study, what do we got here? Chevy HHR. Complained that the steering wheel was hard to turn after it was jump started. What did they do wrong? Car had a dead battery, somebody came out and jump started it for them, and now the steering doesn't work. Now what are you gonna do?
Not enough power to go to the electric power system.
What's that?
Not enough power to go to the electric power steering.
That would be the case before it was jump started, yeah. So here's the problem. The battery was dead.
He put
Somebody jump started the car.
he jump started
After
on
they
the
got
wrong
it running,
terminal.
and the electrical power was restored, the power steering didn't work.
He jump started it on the wrong terminal.
Mm-hmm.
How can you do that?
Okay, so for like positive terminals, sometimes I'll have an extra one sitting on the side.
I'll show you exactly how he did it.
That back one right there.
This is the actual jump start terminal where the cable is.
Mm-hmm.
He used this one, and it blew that 60 amp electric power steering fuse. So, a lot of cars, as you know, do not have the battery under the hood, or it's not where you can get to it. So they put jump start terminals on them, okay? The ground is gonna have like a stud coming off of the body or something like that for your ground. And then you're gonna have a positive, and it's gonna usually have this little red cap over it.
Yeah.
So what happened was they used the wrong terminal to jump start it. It blew that 60 amp power steering fuse, and that's all that was wrong. I've actually seen that happen. I've had cars come in with that problem.
So
I've
it's
actually seen
common?
that. I don't know if it's all that common, but I've actually seen that exact problem. Okay, self-park, we're not gonna get too much into that. It just uses the electric power steering, and it uses wheel speed sensors, steering angle sensors, and ultrasonic sensors. The self-park system may vary by manufacturer, having different levels of driver intervention. A fault in any one sensor will disable the self-park. Always follow the recommended diagnostic and testing procedures for that. Okay, this is the exception to the rule. This is a combination of what? Electro-hydraulic power steering. What would that tell you just by the name of it?
Electric and hydraulic.
It uses a little bit of both. Okay? This is different than all the rest of them. This one uses a little bit of electric, a little bit of hydraulic. Why would it do that? And why would you want a system like that? Why wouldn't just one or the other work?
one fails, you have the other one as backup or no?
It makes sense if the electronic fails, oh, it's a hybrid. Okay.
Everybody knows how hybrid works, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes the gasoline engine shuts off. If you have hydraulic power steering and the engine shuts off, you don't have steering anymore.
Now you go to electric.
So it uses an electric motor to drive a hydraulic pump so that when the engine shuts off, you still have power steering. Okay? That make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Use an electric motor to drive a hydraulic pump. So it still has fluid, still has the hydraulic system, it just does not have a belt on it. Uses an electric motor to drive that hydraulic pump. Okay? It provides hydraulic pressure to the power steering and to the brake booster. What's the brake booster have to do with it?
What?
You notice that it adds brake booster in there. Two types of brake boosters, what are they for your power brakes?
A
Anybody know what they are?
secondary function.
How do you get your power assist for your brakes? You don't know? Anybody know how power brakes work?
You
No?
press on it.
Most cars have a vacuum booster. Okay? If it doesn't, it has a hydro boost. Meaning it works off of the power steering pump. Okay?
Communication codes are U codes, right?
U codes, yes. Okay?
Can you say that one more time, please? What you just said.
Okay. For your power, brake, assist. It's either vacuum operated, it's either got a vacuum booster that works off of engine vacuum, or it's got a hydro boost system, meaning it works off of your hydraulic pressure from your power steering. So if you lose, let's say you lose your power steering system, you lose your brake booster too. Doesn't mean you lose your brakes, it just means you lose the power assist on your brakes. But it does have an accumulator in there that will store pressure and give you a couple of good power brake stops before it depletes the pressure in the accumulator. And then after that, you gotta push really hard on the brakes to get it to stop. Okay? We do brakes after this steering and suspension, okay? So we'll get into that next week. The system will include an electric motor, hydraulic pump, fluid level sensor, electronic controller, obviously reservoir cap, fluid, all that. That electrohydraulic system will work on a 36-volt power supply. The electric hydraulic power service system module receives messages from the controller area network bus. That is just a communications term. Okay, controller area network, that's what the CAN bus is, all right? You want to know vehicle speed, service disconnect status, where your shifter position is, what gear you have it in, torque converter clutch, cruise control dump, meaning cruise control shut off when you hit the brake, and your brake pedal position sensor. And that is what it looks like. It's got a power steering reservoir with a regular old cap that you put fluid in like you would see normally, but it's driven by an electric motor. Chevrolet hybrid pickup. I forgot the R here. It's actually hydro boost. Kind of for hydraulic. Okay. Purpose of it. Why do you have that?
You said if something turns off, then the electric turns it on or drives it.
Okay, the electric's driving it all the time.
Oh, okay.
Because, remember, it's in a hybrid truck. You know how hybrid works, right? You got two propulsion systems. That's what a hybrid is. It works either off the electric motor, like an electric car does, or it runs on the gasoline engine. It has two propulsion systems. Okay? Sometimes when you're driving a hybrid vehicle, the gas-powered engine will shut off, and you're driving on battery power. Okay? If that engine shuts off, you no longer have brakes or steering if you have hydraulic, right? That's why they put the electric motor on it. So it's to provide you power steering assist during engine off conditions. Okay? We talked a little bit about that when we did air conditioning. Your air conditioner's driven off of the drive, your compressor's driven off the drive belt on the crankshaft, right? If the engine shuts off, you got no more air conditioning, right? That doesn't make sense. That would be a stupid way to do it, wouldn't it? So what do they do to fix that? You remember when we did air conditioning? What was the fix to that? What do they do on a hybrid vehicle to keep the air conditioner working when the engine shuts off?
Wasn't the air compressor was okay when this vehicle shuts off? The AC.
It's the same thing. Uses an electric motor, uses an electric AC compressor,
Yeah.
so it doesn't need a belt. But some are belt driven and electric both.
Yeah.
Okay? All right. All right. It doesn't take long to figure out cars are very complicated, does it? Way more than people think. How's it going back there? Any better? No? Okay. You take something for it?
Yeah.
Yeah. They had a tour coming through here. I don't know if they've been through here yet. That's why the door was closed, so let me clean it up.
No,
today.
no,
Right.
my daughters are already big.
Yeah, so they can say big baby. Little baby, she can say.
Yeah,
it.
no,
I
I
would
would
not
not
live.
say it.
Right.
No, she's gonna say it.
Okay. All right, well, I'll see you. Oh, thank you.
Anybody not done? One, okay.
I'm using the book, so it's taking me a little bit longer.
Oh, so no more, I didn't use the book, huh?
Yeah, I'm not too confident anymore.
Okay.
All right, I'm ready.
Now we start with you, how about that? Get you awake there. We're gonna go backwards,
Oh, that's great for me.
right? Go ahead, you can take number one for us.
Highway speed, EPS is motorized, more than 6 feet.
Okay, let's talk about this for a second, so everybody understands what's going on. That is not the correct
Additional.
answer.
Is it C?
Highway speeds, do you need more assist or less assist?
More assist.
More, so it doesn't.
The less assist you get, wouldn't it
Less.
make it?
It's less.
Is the steering wheel easier to turn when the car's rolling or when it's stopped?
Rolling.
When he stopped.
When it's rolling.
Yes.
It takes a lot more effort when it's stopped, right? It takes a lot more power steering effort to park your car than it does when you're driving down the road. Because you don't have the rolling resistance. The car's rolling, right? It provides less assist at highway speeds. What?
Didn't you just say yesterday if you were to be driving down the highway and you had less, what's it called, steering assist? Basically, if you were to turn a little bit, it would pretty much.
If you had too much.
Oh, you said,
too
I thought
much
you said
assist.
less.
No, too much. Making it too easy to turn.
So it'd be C.
You don't want a lot of power steering assist at highway speed because you don't need it. You almost don't even need power steering at highway speed.
Okay. So it'd be
Okay?
C.
But in the parking lot, you need all of it.
Yeah.
Because the car's barely moving or stopped, right? It provides less assist, okay? All right.
Steering church sensor with an electric power steering system sensors
A.
Both.
Both. Yeah. The torque sensor will determine or detect steering wheel torque and direction both, right?
The two base types of electric power steering with speeds.
Is it B?
B.
It's not column mounted.
Column mounted.
B, yeah.
It says it's not column mounted right here.
Column mounted and rack mounted, one or the other.
Page 1517.
The first page.
Power steering motor is gonna be either on the steering column or the steering rack.
Right there.
Two basic types.
Hydraulics not.
No, there's something else in here. I see that
I'm
there's
sorry?
something else in here that says it's not column mounted.
Hydraulic.
Okay.
While not directly mounted on the column
Two basic
itself,
types.
another type of electric
That's
power
what you look at, two
system is
basic
pinion
types
mounted
are.
electric power
Okay,
steering
the motor
system.
you can be mounted on the column or the rack.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
they
like a
do
third.
have a
It's the next-
electrolyte
Go
valve.
to the other
Since
page.
the next page.
That's not one of it.
Two
I
types.
see it,
Oh,
but it says, that's what I'm confused on. It says it's not directly mounted to the column.
but it's the pinion mounted and that's not an option. It says the two basic
All right.
types.
Question 4, what type of motor is used in the most electric power
DC.
B,
Brushless.
Which one? B, DC brushless motor, yeah.
Is it me?
Yeah.
If a fault is detected in the electric power steering system, what dash light is turned on? C.
D.
D, yeah. Either service vehicle soon or a power steering warning light of some sort.
What page is that on?
Where is it?
'Cause I was on.
1520
Is
should
it
be.
1520?
Okay, EPS
Fault
diagnosis.
detection.
Yeah,
Fault
okay.
detection? Yeah.
Power steering one.
Oh, shit.
That's not on there. Where'd it go?
Hmm.
Yeah. Under EPS diagnosis, it says any malfunction detected will cause driver information center to display a power steering warning message and or service vehicle soon.
Oh, okay, and I highlighted that too.
Okay.
Alright, so 6 was confusing for me. Every answer seemed like the same answer. But there's like little differences in each one. So electro-hydraulic power steering system uses, I just went with C because it's the longest one and everything else seems the same.
Okay. Let's look at number 6. Electro-hydraulic power steering systems use what?
An electronic.
It uses an electric motor to drive a hydraulic pump.
Yeah,
Okay? It uses a conventional power steering gear.
yeah.
Okay?
Isn't it?
The
Engine
pump is
driven.
not engine driven. The answer is D.
Hydraulic, okay, so it's both,
It's
okay.
electric motor driven.
Got you.
You should have got D for 6.
Cause I knew A and B was right, but C also
Yeah.
seemed right, I just
Yeah.
didn't catch the engine driven.
Yeah, engine driven, meaning it's got a belt on it. It does
Okay.
not. Anybody get D for number 6? Yeah?
I got A. Just-
Okay.
Though I didn't put it down, I did think it was D, I just wasn't sure.
All right.
The power steering control module will enter a self-protection mode in the case of a condition, high temperature.
Yep. Motor gets hot, yep.
The EPS control unit will vary the voltage. B.
The EPS control unit will vary the,
The voltage?
I don't know,
I was
what
reading
page is
it,
that?
all it, like, it always like refers to everything by voltage. So
yeah, it does. I'm trying to find where it talks about that.
Is that the right answer?
It's actually amperage, I'm just trying to find where it says that.
Oh, right there, page 1518, right underneath the figure 123.4. It says the torsion bar twists when the drive exerts torque, and then if you go down a couple of sentences, it says this generates a higher voltage signal to the EPS ECU. The EPS control unit can vary the amperage
Yeah, there
to
you go.
the assist motor based on input from the torque and steering wheel sensors.
All right.
The control unit also monitors the temperature of the motor and can reduce the amount of power assist if the motor temperature increases too much.
All right. 8 is D. Number 9, where are we at now? I'm confused since we're going backwards.
Should be,
Terrence?
Karen,
yeah.
give us number 9.
The steering column of the electric power steering system is included, but may have to be recalibrated by electric
Power system control module.
C.
C.
I'm gonna go with D.
You go with D? Okay, do you know what D is?
No.
It's the torque sensor.
Okay, you know what a turn signal cancel trigger is?
It's when you,
When you're driving down the road and you're gonna make a left turn, let's say, you put your turn signal on right, you make
Once
a
you
left turn,
make
once
that
you go
turn,
back
you
straight
straighten
again,
out,
the
it
turn
turns
signal
off.
shuts itself off, that's what that is. It's not that. Torque sensor 0, yeah. Yep,
What page is that on?
1518 it should be.
Yeah, he told us the whole thing about a bunch of cars from the past, had to go back and get recalls because of that.
Yep, replacing the torque sensor, and you have to do a recalibration on it for torque sensor 0. Okay. Self-park assist, self-park system use what sensors?
Oh, there it is.
Hmm?
All of those, yeah.
Oh, all
Uh-huh.
the above, yeah.
Row speed, turn position, electronic sensors, all right. Well, how did we do on that? It sounded like it was a little confusing.
Very much.
I got 2.5.
No, I got 2 wrong.
Really?
What was 10?
That's good, D.
I got 2 wrong.
Only 3 wrong? Good. Okay, well, maybe it was better than I thought. All right.
Question, before we move further, on page 1519, do you remember when I asked about that sensor, that non-contact sensor? I asked about that because of the figure in 123.7, where it shows the schematic. So that's why I'm like, if this comes up again, if this comes up in the test, it says non-contact sensor. Where would that they won't ask that, will they? They won't delve into that, will they?
I seriously doubt it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think you gotta worry about that. All right, one question what we did. What about question number 2?
Brake boosters.
Electrohydraulic power steering pump provides hydraulic power to the steering gear and what else?
Brake booster.
The brake booster, yeah, for your hydro boost. We did that one.
High temperature. Voltage signals.
Voltage signals? Crankshaft torque sensor uses voltage signals as inputs to the electronic power steering control module, yes. What is the relationship between the PSCM and the PCM?
Mounted together on the electric motor steering, EPS motor.
D.
What is it?
D.
Dog.
Dog? Not dog.
So, yes.
So the control modules talk to each other. That's what you need to know.
They're wired together.
Wired between the two. Serial data. We said C.
Did
You're
ya?
just like messing with us.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Okay, self-park. What sensor is added to the normal system that allows self-park?
Cameras.
Camera.
What diagnostic equipment is usually needed to diagnose faults or relearn the electric power steering system? Special electronic
Scan tool.
There's gotta be a.
A sounds right, but it's actually factory level scan tool.
Gotcha. 1 horsepower.
1 horse, yes.
What type of diagnostic trouble codes will be set when an EPMS? They would be chassis codes. See? Two technicians are discussing electric power steering systems. Technician A says that some systems operate on 12 volts. Yes. Technician B says some systems operate on 42 volts, such as on some hybrid electric vehicles.
A is right.
Both?
Yep. 42 on a hybrid, 12 on a regular car, so both of those are correct.
Before break, can we do the book test?
Yep, we'll do that and we'll good break. All right, let's see, what do we got here?
Two basic
Two basic types of power steering systems,
Column and
electric power
rack.
station.
B.
Column or rack, all right?
Advantages of electric power steering compared to hydraulic.
Advantages of having
All of the
EPS,
above.
all of those.
What type of motor is used in electronic powered steering? EPS is
DC brushless motor,
Oh, excuse me. Both. 1
Both.
horsepower.
1 horsepower.
What is the relationship between
Serial data, 6 to C. If a fault is detected, either B or C will happen. Or possibly both.
factory?
Factory level scan tool for 8.
All of the above.
All of the up for 9. And 10 was the one that confused you.
Yeah, so that'd be D.
D, both
Gotcha.
A and B. It is not engine driven.
Gotcha.
All right. We're gonna do 10 o'clock. Last 2 chapters, all we gotta do, and that deals with wheel alignment, okay?